Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have John Barry. How's it going today?
Going great. Doing terrific. Hope you are.
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. It was actually a really good Tuesday, so I'm happy.
That's good.
So, where are you based out of again?
We live just on the north side of Nashville
Okay.
in Gallatin, Tennessee. Hendersonville is sort of the next real organized community north of Nashville, and then Hendersonville. A lot of Opry stars lived up in Hendersonville, on the lake up there. Also, in the Old Hickory Lake, and a lot of them still live up there. And then the next community up is Gallatin, and that's where we are.
Awesome. So you're enjoying the probably a lot cooler weather than. So
it's fabulous.
Yeah,
it could be like this year round.
Yeah, fair. My dad's actually up that way. He's up in Eddyville, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he calls it summering in Eddyville, Kentucky, and it's like I've not heard too many people use that phrase, considering he lives in Florida, but I'll take your word for it on that one. So
there you go.
Oh, but how's everything been going? It's been 6 months, right? Let's see. CRS was in February, 7 months, whatever it was. How's the music been going?
Good. We've just been out doing a lot of dates this year. Some solo acoustic things, some trio things. My wife Robin and my bass player Mike go do a lot of dates with me, and also been doing a handful of band dates. And we leave out Thursday night. We're playing Friday night in Illinois. The band, we're playing a festival up there. A group that had a bunch of hits in the '80s, the Girls Next Door. They're from Chattanooga, Tennessee, just south of here, and they're going to be opening the show, and so it'll be fun to be with the girls there. And then next week, I'm heading up to Michigan for 4 shows. Just my bass player and Michael and my wife Robin, and I'm doing a handful of benefit shows for some police and fire departments. So
nice, awesome.
Yeah.
So you're staying active, staying busy, still hitting the road as often as you can.
Yeah, we're still out doing a number of dates. We're getting ready for our Christmas tour. This is our 28th year doing a Christmas run of dates. So we typically do around, sometimes more, but typically around 20. And I think that's right where we're at this year. And sometimes I remember one year we had 28, which was great. But this year, Thanksgiving falls really late at the last weekend of the month. So we typically don't start till Thanksgiving weekend. So
yeah. I did think that was kind of weird. I was trying to figure out when to go home for the holidays, and I was like, Thanksgiving is so late this year. I was just like, I'll just come home for Christmas and I'll stay a little bit longer for Christmas than trying to divide out 2 trips like that. So,
yeah, it's supposed to be the 3rd weekend in November, but I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
3rd Thursday.
Fair. I did want to kind of off the top here jump into something because I saw it in my notes that you're celebrating 5 years cancer-free.
Yeah. I had throat cancer diagnosed 5 years ago in January, and I went through my chemotherapy and radiation treatments. And this past May was 5 years since my treatments, and that's what they're looking for, that 5-year clean mark, and get to ring the bell and say adios. So.
Right, nice. My dad got to do that. He had prostate cancer, and it wasn't quite the 5-year mark. I mean, he's coming up on, or he'll be coming up on it, I think, next year.
Yeah.
But he was diagnosed in 2019, and then he started his treatments early in 2020. So yeah, it's not good.
I got diagnosed in January of 19, and I started my treatments February 6th. I mean, like 30 days later, we're in there.
Yeah,
I got things to do. Let's get on with this.
Right. It's chemo scares me, but I'm glad you made it through and everything's on the up and up now. You've hit the 5-year clean mark. So
yeah, chemotherapy is the worst thing imaginable. I can't imagine. If you've never been through it, you can't understand it. It's horrible.
Yeah. I watched my mom go all the way through it, and she didn't end up making it through, but I don't know if the chemo helped her or if it just made things worse. So, but
Yeah.
so I'm glad everything's well. And are you doing anything to like celebrate being 5 years clean? Are you doing it like a run of shows or
Well,
have,
just enjoying life. We just got back from a beach trip. My three children and their spouses and their children all joined my wife and I at the beach for a week. So that was a lot of fun.
nice, nice. Oh, so and then like you'd mentioned, you've got a whole bunch of shows coming up. What's life on the road like with John Barry?
It's pretty laid back. This particular show, we're going out to going north up to Illinois to do a show um, with just my bass player, my wife, and myself. And we're going to take the bus just to get it out and run it a little bit. The bus hadn't been real active this summer, so I've got it down getting serviced, and I'll pick it up on Thursday, and we'll leave out Thursday night. Run up to Indiana. I guess it's Illinois. No, it's Indiana. I don't know. We're going somewhere,
Fair.
and and it's only 4 hours. It's in Illinois. It's 4 hours
Okay.
away, and so we'll just run up there Thursday evening late and wake up on Friday, be there, and get to work and do a show there Friday night, and then
Nice.
turn around and head back home. So
Fair.
pretty easy.
So I take it you're not driving the bus?
Oh, I'm driving the bus.
Oh, you're driving the bus?
But yeah, yeah. Typically for short runs like that, I'll just drive. I love
Mhm.
driving my bus. I've had it for 10 or 12 years, 14 years. I know more about that bus than anybody on the planet. So
Hey, fair enough, right?
yeah, so I went
Fair
up there
enough.
and went back. It's a piece of cake.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you kind of at creatively right now? Are you obviously with these shows coming up, that's keeping you pretty busy, but are you writing music, recording music, getting ready to release some stuff? Where are you kind of at musically right now?
Well, I was talking to someone earlier today, and they said, "Well, I know you don't want to talk too much about the new album. I know you don't want to let the cat out of the bag." I said, "Well, actually, I'm trying to get the cat in the bag. So because right now the cats are just running around the room, and I'm trying to figure out what because I'd like to maybe do an album next year, and we're just trying to get everything lined up to see if we can't make that happen."
Fair. And so that you're just kind of trying to figure out what it could look like and
Yeah,
nothing too specific set up yet.
nothing at all. Yeah, just
Nice.
cats running around the room.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively, we don't allow cats around here.
Oh, fair enough. I figured being up in Tennessee, you just had wild cats running around all the properties.
No, we live in a little neighborhood, and um, it's just a little neighborhood, and but we are blessed to well, I guess I can't turn it around. Yeah, we're blessed to have a lovely backyard.
Nice.
I mean, you can't see a neighbor. I mean, there's houses right on the other side of those trees,
Yeah.
over here, and but you know, it's a little Garden of Eden here.
Fair. I've see, I need to get myself into a place where I actually have a backyard. Everywhere I've lived since I've moved out on my own, I've never had a backyard.
Oh
So
wow.
it's
Yeah, we when my wife and I first got married, I had 5 acres out in the country,
hmm
and we bought 5 acres next door,
hmm
and then we bought um, oh gosh, what was it? I guess we bought the next 5 acres and built my mother-in-law a house, and then we bought 10 acres on the other side of that. No, yeah, 10 acres on the other side of that, and then we bought 45 acres across the street, and then we bought 63 next to that. We didn't want a lot of land. We just wanted any land that touched ours.
fair.
And but it was lovely. So we had a big place, 150 acres or so. And then we ended up leaving there. Um, and we've always had either large yards or a few acres around us. and so we moved up here to Nashville this last time, and we're in this neighborhood. It's a great little neighborhood, very quiet, and if I got to bring my bus here, bring it in, leave it overnight to load up for a show or something, or unload after a show. My
Mhm.
neighbors don't care at all. You know, you know, that bothers them at all,
Fair.
and so that's good because some of them people, we call them the homeowners association squad after you, and but neighbors are pretty cool about it. And so it's a nice place to be. It's been a good home for us.
For sure. Now I have to ask because as you were showing me the backyard, I saw a baseball game on in the background.
Oh yeah, that's the Atlanta Braves. Yeah,
Okay. Is that your team or
go Braves. Yeah,
okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
I grew up in Atlanta, and as a kid went to Fulton County Stadium, sat out in left field and yelled at Hank Aaron to throw
Hmm.
us a ball. Come on, Hank, throw us a ball.
Yeah. Nice. So funny little connection there. Um, not with Hank Aaron, the Braves. Not with Hank Aaron, that would be a fun connection. But my dad, my dad's girlfriend, her family used to own the Braves in like the 1920s.
Wow.
I
Well,
think that's the story. I haven't had a chance to like sit down and dive deep in on the story and like really talk to her about it.
yeah.
It's always one of those things whenever I'm watching the game, my dad's like, "Oh, so and so's family used to own the Braves," one of those things. So,
You need to have that conversation and make some notes.
right?
That'd be some good notes to have in the drawer there.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like once I next time I see her, it'll be like, okay, well, let's talk about this and let's like get some specifics so I don't
There you go.
sound like I don't know what I'm talking
Man,
about.
come on.
So,
Yeah, man. You do interviews for a living. Come on, man.
right? Fair enough. Oh, no, that's cool. So, grow I'm trying to remember all what we talked about during our last interview because it was like such a quick we had 10 minutes and then you know how CRS kind of is where it's like
Well, yeah,
on
next.
to on to the next one. Oh, we just finally found the flow. What's going on here? So,
Mhm.
but you said grew up in Atlanta. Where does music kind of come into play for you? Is that something your family introduced you to, or?
Well, yeah, I just always looked. There was always music being played in our house,
Mhm.
always. My mother loved gospel and Christian music, and my sister was 6 years older, and so she always had the radio going. Loved pop music. Like all kids. And my brother ended up being a classical musician, opera singer, and a cellist. Played the cello, and I started playing guitar when I was 12 in 1971, and I think John Denver was probably one of the most well-known entertainers. Well, I guess 72, summer 72, and I had gone to elementary school with all the same kids, and then at that time, high school started at eighth grade, and so I started high school with all the same kids, and I just started playing guitar, and it was kind of cool because I take my guitar to class and different things, and it was a good icebreaker for high school kid.
Yeah.
And but I got to know the kids. I was on the cross country team, and I knew everybody. And over Thanksgiving break, unexpectedly, we moved to the other side of the county in Atlanta. So I moved from Avondale High School, very sports oriented,
Mm.
championship sports teams year in year out, to Cross Keys High School, which was not quite as successful in most of the sports, but um, I didn't know anybody but my brother. But my guitar became my best friend,
Mm.
and saw me through a lot of lonely days, and lonely nights. And the I ended up making some lifelong friends at that high school. Perry Barton, who helped me produce my first 3 or 4 records at a little studio we built in my dad's basement, and Charlie Brandt, a dear friend from school, lost a few years ago, and Dick Falcone and David Ray. David and Dick and Perry played on my first little album I did back in 1979. and so still just made some lifelong friends there. Music became a big force in my life at that point. So I
Is it
say that move. I have to say that move, as traumatic as it was, changing schools and all that, I wouldn't take it back for anything. So
for sure? I was just going to ask it. Is it fair to say, had you not moved, you'd probably be an athlete of some sort?
I'd probably be a cross country runner.
Fair.
Yeah, I was really good at it for a 13-year-old kid running a mile, and my best mile time was 4:56. I
Oh
don't know
well.
how it stacks up to most times, but that was my best time as a kid, and never forgot it. It was pretty remarkable.
I mean, at 13 years old, I can only imagine that's got to be pretty quick, because
It's pretty fun.
yeah, nice. That's cool. And then, so then you go through this move and it's pretty much rock and roll history, as they say.
Yeah, man, I just fell in love with playing for people and enjoyed writing songs and most of it was a learning experience of what not to do,
Mhm.
how not to write songs, what not to write songs about, and lots of bad albums, I made, and but I learned a lot, and then got with some really great writers in Nashville, and really learned how to write some pretty good songs, and sure learned how to find some really great songs that other folks had written and make some good records. So that was fun.
Nice. And how long have you been in, or when did you end up moving to Nashville?
I didn't move there till late '90s, but I recorded my first album with Capitol in '93. An album came out in '94.
Mhm. Gotcha. Gotcha. So one question that I wanted to ask last time we had to chat, got a chance to sit down, is what's keeping you motivated right now? What's your North Star in the industry that's kind of keeping
Well,
you going?
well, I just love doing it. I really what I love most is singing for people. I love to tour. Um, I love the I love the production aspect of it. I own my own lighting and sound rig
Nice.
and lighting, yeah, lighting, sound, video. Um, I love putting all that together and organize it for us to go out and then make it happen. It's a lot of fun. So
Nice.
I love Christmas. We'll have about 20 shows this year, which is pretty normal. And there's some cities like Macon, Georgia. This will be our 28th year doing it, playing
Oh,
that
well,
city. And we've played the Grand Opera House all but one year during COVID. It's a Macon Opera House is about 1,500 seats, and they during COVID the show was already sold out, so they moved it to City Auditorium, which is a much larger venue, maybe 4,500 seats, so they could spread everybody out for
mm,
COVID reasons. Um, it was great that we got to do it, and it was under the guidance and suggestion of the mayor of Macon that we do that, so we didn't break our streak. And um, but it didn't feel the same with everybody. So the next year when we were back at the Grand Opera House, everybody really enjoyed that.
yeah.
It was pretty magical.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's
But it's fun because we have people who come year after year. I mentioned in lots of interviews about a particular family that comes. They've been coming since year one, and their daughters were 3 and 5, and now they're not 3 and 5. But we have pictures together from every single year. One of the girls actually got engaged at one of the shows.
oh wow.
She didn't know it. It was a big surprise, but it was awesome.
Nice. So you're kind of almost building little communities every time you come to one of these cities for the Christmas shows.
Community for a day,
Nice.
but it is
Uh,
a lot of fun. It really is.
and you're pretty much playing around the southeast there, or like Tennessee, Georgia, that area.
We're going as far away as Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if we're going into Minnesota this year. I don't think so. We have
You're
been. We've gone as far as before. We've gone as far as Fargo.
Oh well.
We've gone, well, we've gone all through Western Canada. We've gone all over the country. But
Yeah.
in recent years, we've not gone out west, which I hope we get to do before long. But we kind of keep it between Wisconsin and Western New York and south. So
Yeah.
and east, and kind of swing east. We don't get out. We unfortunately, I haven't had people from Texas reach out to me about shows. I sure would love to. I'd love to go out there and play.
Yeah. Well, I will be your ambassador. I will
Come
start.
on.
I will be pushing your name anytime somebody's looking for people to bring out. So
Yeah, and if we come play in Texas, we'll be sure there's a fiddle in the band.
nice. Awesome. I was going to make a comment. You really sure like playing with the weather, don't you? Going that far north in the dead of winter,
Yeah, we throw the dice on that one.
right?
We have been
I've
very fortunate.
Hey, if it's working, keep going with it, right?
Yeah.
Eh,
Oh, those buses though, boy, one tire spins, you're done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we have lucked up on the weather. We have been blessed to make it through without any weather delays all these
yeah.
years. So
I've only had one time, knock on wood, where weather was a real hindrance. I went home for Christmas one year. I think it was about 2 years ago, and I was leaving to come back, and it had just snowed a whole bunch, and I was in the backwood, not the backwood, but in the boondocks of Indiana, because I'm from South Chicago, and my sister lives out in Indiana now. And so she lives out in a farming community out in Indiana, and the road I needed to go on to get out to the major highway to start taking me back here to Texas hadn't been plowed,
yeah,
but it was realized that I was just skating on ice the entire time. And so I tried to hit my brakes, and luckily there was nobody around. So I just kind of looked like a dummy for the sake of it. And I hit my brakes and I just started sliding. And I was like, okay, this isn't good. I just started pumping the brakes and I started grabbing a little bit. And then I was turned the wheel because I was starting to shift this way. And then it was just like, okay, I got to remember you don't do any of that. Just hit the brakes until you stop and you're fine. So,
yeah,
but, but yeah, so that's the only time that I've ever had any real bad encounters like that. So,
yeah.
but, so you've got that coming up in December, and then you'll start from there. You'll kind of start working on this potential, not
Yeah,
potential,
we'll see
this
what goes on. We're going on the Grand Ole Opry cruise again this year.
nice.
We kind of do it every other year. So this year, 2025 is our year to go again. So that'll be a lot of fun. And it's I think it's from 4 or 5 stops on the cruise,
Mhm.
and just a lot of fun to spend with other artists and great country music fans. So looking
Nice.
forward to that.
And that's in January.
Yeah, last week of January.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll have to look into that. I know the cruises or cruise concerts or cruise festivals are a very big thing here in Texas. I'll
Yeah,
have to I'll have to look into this one. So
it's a good one. I tell you, there's a lot of Opry stars on it, and me and a few of our friends that aren't Opry members, but it's always fun to go and hang out with them, and just some great people on this cruise ship.
nice. Awesome. Awesome. So one thing before we kind of wrap this up, outside of music, what have you been getting into to kind of decompress and just enjoy life?
Well, I think some of the things I enjoy most is having my grandson here. He's 3 miles away, and I get to go see him just about every day if I'd like, and
Nice.
get over there and see him. And he's my little buddy. He loves Papa, and he's 2.5 years old, and he loves my big. I've got a big old Ford F-350
Nice.
four-wheel drive crew cab, and he loves big truck, and I've got a little sound company. That's why I have the truck. I have a
Mhm.
portable stage business. Mainly it's designed for small towns set up on the town square.
Mhm.
Have professional sound lighting and staging, and we can pull in and have a great looking show for a small town that typically doesn't have the kind of budget that's necessary for a big show, but
Yeah.
we can pull in and provide that kind of a service for them. And it gives me something to do when I'm not working, and because I just enjoy having my hands in it,
Yeah.
and I love the production end of it. It's kind of fun, and um, I think the first 5 shows we booked the production trailer and staging and all. They ended up hiring me to do the show, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. And but it's a lot of fun, and I love that part of it. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Is that something that you've always had interest in like the production aspect of things, or is that
Yeah,
something as you kind of gone through the reps of playing shows, it was like, oh, this is
yeah.
interesting.
But well, went back to years ago when I played clubs. I always had my own sound and lighting because typically the clubs had horrible sound and lighting,
Yeah.
and so I always had really good stuff, really good gear, and was always pretty proactive with it. A lot of the bands would just use whatever they could find, and I just couldn't go for that.
Hmm.
And then when I got a record deal, it was kind of the same way. I ended up playing places that just didn't always have the best production, so we had it. And then once I got playing the big stages and things, we made use of what was there and what was provided because they always provided good stuff.
Hmm.
And then recent years, we've been, of course, my Christmas tour. I typically will carry my own production for Christmas each
Yeah.
year because it was cheaper for me to use the stuff I had that would be the
Yeah.
least for a tour. And I've just always kept that up, keep it
Yeah.
updated, and use it. So it's a lot of
Nice.
fun.
That's something I need to invest a little bit more in because we started doing these podcasts live out in front of
Yeah,
like an audience and whatnot. And everybody told me was like, don't cheap out on your don't cheap out on your PA system.
yeah,
If you have to wait a little bit longer to get whatever you're looking at now, wait 6 months, save up to get the next step up or whatever. And I was in a position where I had like 3 weeks before I had scheduled like a live podcast. And so I just had to get what I could afford. And I think about every other week, some kind of plug has gone out on it or something's just not working on it. And it's like, should have just waited.
yeah.
Should have just waited.
Well, if you make a change, let me be your first call. I'll get you hooked up.
Okay, fair enough. I will.
I am the king at finding different companies, maybe not the most well known or maybe known at all, that make
Mhm.
really cool stuff.
Nice. I will keep that in mind. Maybe if we're both at CRS in 2025, we'll talk about that.
Come
So
on, I'll be there.
awesome. Awesome. But really appreciate your time. It's always fun chatting with you. If anybody wants to check out any of your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, johnberry.com is my website. And there's also links to my social medias, which are John Berry Music.
Mhm.
And there's also some podcasts that we have available for free that you can listen to. I think the first 5 or 6 are up there now. And one of them, if you get a chance to listen to it, do so, please. I think you'll really get a lot out of it. It's the last interview that Charlie Daniels did.
Oh, wow.
And it was 4 days before he passed away. And my wife and I had a little podcast called Faith, Family, and Friends, where entertainers, friends of ours, not just entertainers, just people we know, would talk about how their friends, family, and their faith had influenced their lives and their careers. And Charlie was, I got chills. It's remarkable, remarkable hour and a half. And when I edited his podcast, I just couldn't even go listen to it for the longest time, and I finally did, and it was tough. It was tough to get through, and I edited. The only edits I made were stupid things that I said or ums and all that kind of stuff that I hate that I do, but I left every noise Charlie made,
Mhm.
left it in there because there won't be anymore. So,
Fair.
but it's a wonderful, wonderful conversation with a good friend.
Awesome. I will have to check that out. I I drive a lot, so podcasts are my saving grace, getting me through
There you
some of
go.
these road trips.
I
So
hear you.
I wish I had not the ability, but sometimes I'm just too stupid to go take out some of the stupid things that I say out of the podcast. And so I've just kind of gotten to the point now where people already know how dumb I am, so just we'll let it be. So
You can't fathom the level of dumbness that I can get on tape.
okay. It's it was like we're almost 1,000 podcasts in at this point, and
Oh wow.
if I were to go back and listen to some of the dumb stuff I've said, yeah. So, but once again, I really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute blast. I always enjoy chatting with you. Um, and anytime you want to come back on, please let me know. I'd love to have you. So, yeah.
Thank you. Good to be with you. Appreciate the invitation, and hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Yep, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch y'all later. Cool.